Bare necessity, but simple bare necessity. Bare necessity, but simple bare necessity.
Hey there, it's Bree Bear and welcome to today's video. Today I am going to be doing another recent reads video. Actually, though, most of these books I did not read exactly recently. It's just been a hot minute since I've been able to sit down and film one of these videos, so a lot of them have been kind of backed up, and I did start getting caught up during Veda, but then since Veda I haven't been able to film a ton. So the two boards that I'm going to talk about today in this video are Loki and Coulson. That's it, Coulson. Now, I think I finished Coulson first. Here's Coulson's board. So I'm not going to talk about anything in any particular order, I don't think, but I do know that I've already discussed this book, so I'm going to do it first, and it is The Rise of the Red Hand by Olivia Chada, and this was one of the group books. This was for May. Yeah, I did use this on the board because I believe that, yeah, Coulson's board came out in May. This book was the May book, so of course I ended up using it on there. I used this to complete Classified Knowledge, Advanced Technology, and a character you'd want to be friends with. So, I'm not going to talk about the book at all. I talked about it in a previous recent reads video, so just go back through the year, find my other recent reads videos, and you will find my discussion on that book. This is how you lose the time for. This book completed the prompt, A Character with an Alias. This was our group book for June, and it follows Red and Blue, or two characters who go under the names of Red and Blue, who are on opposite sides of a war that moves through time. So these opposite sides of the war are moving through time to make changes in the past, present, and future to create their own personal desired outcome of these changes. And so as they're doing that, these two characters, Red and Blue, start leaving letters for each other. But the letters are not like traditional letters, like in the way that they leave them for each other, but it's the same kind of concept. Like we get the same format of a letter. So it's like it's told in an epistolary format, and it's a very interesting read. Archetypes include the future, time travel war, fixing timelines, or like multiple timelines being, timelines being changed, fighters slash soldiers, code names slash alias. I don't know how to say the plural for alias. I don't know if it's aliases. I don't know. Secret messages, letters, Atlantis, a character who is a reader, specifically of classic literature, slow burn romance, and star-crossed lovers. So my genre description might help a little bit. I said it's told in an epistolary format. It's a soft world structure sci-fi that focuses on relationships and characters rather than world building. Alright, so it's definitely, like I said just now, character driven. It's a darker tone with a soft magic slash sci-fi system, and a softer world structure. Like we don't get a lot of description of things and surroundings and stuff, but the themes are pretty strong, and it's told mostly through narrative and the letters. In general, there were a lot of things that were not explained well enough or were explained too much based on how you wanted to tell this story. So basically, the general consensus in the live show was that we all thought that it needed to be either a bit longer or a bit shorter, and either be just the letters and us not really get enough of an explanation to be invested in the world stuff, or to more fully flesh out some of the world things so that we understand a bit better. I did really love the prose of this, though. If this collaborative team did write anything else together, I would love to see it. Character and relationship development was fabulous, and I loved it. And I really just liked the vibes of the book. I liked the idea of this world, this concept of traveling through time and changing timelines and all of that was super cool. I liked the idea of a time war. That was just a great concept. I rated this a 4, but honestly, if I were to do half stars, it would probably be a 4.5. And I know that might be high to some people given the struggle of it just not giving you enough. But I just enjoyed the concept so much, and I liked the character development so much that I just ended up enjoying it a lot. So next we have Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire. This completed the Set in a Magical Place prompt. For this book, I'm not going to go into a lot of depth because it is a continuation in a series. This is book, 5, I think, in the Wayward Children series. If you want to see my thoughts on some of the books in this series, you can check out my other recent reads videos. Comparative to the series, this one is not my favorite. So I don't know how to mark that in my ratings, I guess, because it's like, it's not the same thing as an actual 4-star book where it's like significantly less enjoyable than a 5-star book to like the point where I would mark it down. It's like, it's not that. So I don't know how to mark books that are in the series that are like technically probably would be a 5-star, but I want to show that this is not my favorite in the series. So like, I want you to look at my ratings and know which in the series is my favorite and what like is not my favorite. I don't know. And the last book for Coulson's board is A Short History of the Girl Next Door by Jared Reck. R-E-C-K. Completed the prompts. It's completed several, so let me get my notebook. Alright, a character that lives in the shadows. Oh, I guess it didn't. Oh, yeah, it did. Never mind. A character without superpowers and unrequited love. I thought I couldn't see one of them because I can't use my brain today. It's fine. This book follows a character who has this crush on his best friend, who is his neighbor, and it's like a childhood best friend situation. Like, they grew up together, they've always been close, and then she starts like seeing this guy, and so he's dealing with that, whereas he doesn't think that this guy that she's seeing is like good enough for her, and like doesn't think that he's, you know, treating her right, blah blah blah. Well, then this big thing happens, and it sends him kind of spinning, kind of in a tailspin here, and trying to, you know, deal. I can't say it because that's a spoiler, because it doesn't happen until towards the end of the book. But basically something bad happens, and it kind of, you know, makes him reflect on how he really thinks about things and views things, and yeah. Okay. I don't know how to talk about this book because I went into this book thinking that it was a fluffy contemporary about a guy who has a crush on his neighbor, and then he goes through all this time not getting to be with her, and then in the end they would end up together. Like, that's what I thought this was going to be, like a Ramona and Beezus, like Beezus's, you know, little romance. Thought it was going to be like that. No! It is not that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Okay. Let's go ahead and, Alright, this goes high school. Archetypes include high school, fall, childhood friends, unrequited love, siblings, brothers, specifically, basketball, Halloween, Star Wars, and other pop culture references, and also multiple timelines. We jump back and forth between the past and the present. Okay. This is a hard-hitting contemporary with some fluff at the beginning. That is what this is. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be fooled by the synopsis. Yes, it says something tragic happens, but it doesn't specify what the tragedy is, and it seems like, based off of the synopsis, that it's not going to be the same kind of tragedy that it actually is, and like the excessive level, because like a tragedy could be a serious injury that gets you where you can't play. He's a basketball player. Like a tragedy for him could be like, you know, getting where he can't, you know, having a serious injury where he can no longer play basketball, and it seriously affects his life in other ways too. Like that could have been a tragedy for him. But is that the kind of tragedy it is? No! No! Okay, this is character driven. It is kind of, it's light tone at the beginning and dark tone at the end. It's kind of like in the middle of tone overall, but it's because it's like, it starts out fluff and then it ends up not fluff. Okay. Excuse me. And it is narrative and some dialogue led, not so much action led. Okay, so I don't know how to talk about this book. I'm just gonna go through my dislikes and likes. Okay, dislikes. There are some stupid comments here and there, just some poor choices, like bad idea, man. Like, just I wish authors had filters sometimes, because okay, I'm also gonna say this. I am not a huge fan of profanity in books. It's just not my favorite thing. I can ignore it if it is sprinkled throughout. But if you have it like so intensely, like every other sentence has multiple words in it, it kind of gets annoying. You could say the same thing in so many other ways, but all you can think of to say is these 5 words, and that's it. That's all you got. The guy that she starts looking in, or dating, I guess, I don't like the way he handled some things, and it bothers me because it was never resolved. Like, it'd be different if it was resolved, but it was not. And he did not handle some things right. Like, he let people trash talk her. Like, locker room talk stuff was just disgusting and unnecessary, and he didn't correct it. Like, he didn't necessarily participate in the conversation, but he didn't correct it either. Potty talk is not interesting to me. Like I said previously, preschool teacher, I get enough of it. Don't care to talk about it anymore at the end of my 8-hour day. A couple things I liked. There were a couple like little relatable, like cute, quirky moments. There was also, Matt talks about why he loves basketball, why he plays basketball, and I really enjoyed the way that he discussed that and why he plays. We don't often get a character who just does something because they're passionate about it. That is in an athletic field. Most of the time when we get a character that's in an athletic field, they're forced to. Their parents have expectations. Blah, 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 blah. He just plays because he loves it. We don't see that very often, so I enjoyed getting to see that. We also have some cute moments in the relationships, and oh my gosh, main female character Tabby calls Matt out when he is being dumb, and I love that. And just Tabby in general, I love her a lot. There was some good advice. The grandpa in this, Matt's grandfather, he goes and visits his grandfather, and oh my gosh, grandpa is the bomb. He's my favorite. I love him the best. He's the best character in this book other than Tabby. Him and Tabby, I will keep. Everybody else, whatever. They're the only things I really needed out of this book. Everything else could have just not been there. And then there were some really strong themes about loss and grief and things, and really some of those themes were actually really well done. So at least there was that. So all in all, this was a mixed bag for me. It was a very conflicting book, and I ended up giving it 3 stars, but I don't know. Like, again, I think the main reasons I give it 3 stars is because some of the themes were well done, and 2 of the characters I really loved. That's the real reason. that said, let's go ahead and wrap up Coulson's board. For the center prompt, I bought some fountain pens. It had been a while since I'd bought any pens, so I got some new pens, and I think also ink was in that order. Let's go ahead and move on to a Loki's board. That was a really bad snap. It wasn't even together. It was like a grace note. There it is again, another grace note. There we go. I'm fine, you're fine, we're fine. Okay? We're gonna do great things together. I used This Is How You Lose the Time More again. This came in for Rivals, genre-bending book, or was it a genre-bending cover? No, it was a genre-bending book and then a deceptive cover. Yeah, that's it. So, I already talked about this a few minutes ago, so we're gonna move on. Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This I have a whole video for, so I'm not gonna talk about it here. But here is where it fit on this board. I used it for features adoption. Ha 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 ha. And also, a book that has an intense fandom. You can't not say that the Twihards were not very intense. Check out that video. It's the Twilight bonus content is what video I am referring to. To finish out Loki's board, I only have one book that I actually have to discuss in depth, and that is Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Lanny Taylor. This is the final book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, so I cannot give you a whole lot to go on here. But in general, I did enjoy this series. It's not my favorite thing in the world. This one went with me far and wide. Like, look, the cover is falling apart. This book got wet. It went to the beach. It smells like book and sunscreen. Is what it smells like. It went to the beach with me. Like I said, this was my read for the whole trip to Florida. So, yeah, it's been through it. But, all in all, my thoughts for this series, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite series in the world. I could have gone without it and been okay. But I appreciate seeing how far Lanny came between this book and those two over there. Because those two were such a step up from this to me in her writing abilities. I think she grew a lot in her ability to tie things in. I think she cleaned up her writing a lot more. I think she cleaned up her magic system a lot. Because in this one we have some things that I feel like were just kind of left in limbo. And I think they were kind of explained, but not well enough to warrant the way that they were used, in my opinion. Yeah, I liked the romance. It was angsty and in the right way. It was the right kind of angst. And I think that there was a lot of character development and growth throughout the series. My favorite parts of the series is definitely... Where are they? These right here. These two babies, and this whole book is like the cutest thing of ever, and I love it a lot. So for that reason, I have to say I did enjoy this book, even if it wasn't, the best series ever. Like, some of the satisfying things, or some of the things were satisfying, and I do think that Lanny is a good writer. And I think that she has grown as a writer as well. I don't really have a lot of thoughts. It was a long time ago that I finished this. I finished it right after we got back, or no, right on our way, right before I got back from Florida, or right as I got back. I can't remember. Me and this book finished our journey together when I got back from my dad's wedding, which was in June. So it's been a long time, I feel like, since I read it. So I can't really clearly explain my thoughts anymore. And I know I could have pulled up my review for it, but that sounds like effort. And I don't feel like effort right now. So here is Loki's completed board. And that is that. That is everything for these two boards. I hope that I wasn't as rambly as I felt like I was. But if I was that rambly, then oh well. C'est la vie, my friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and night, whatever time it is for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I will see you guys soon with another one, and peace out, your scouts.
About your worries and your stress. I mean a bare necessity. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Yeah, with just the bare necessities of life.